What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host, Caleb. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons. Newsome, you rock. Now, let's get into today's Deck Tech with mizzet Reborn. And guys, this is the weekly voted patron Deck Tech. Again, if you want to become a part of that voting, link to the patrons in the description down below. They kind of threw me a curveball this week. They were like, hey, what does a 5-color experience counter deck look like? So I chose mizzet Reborn. The fact that his ETB digs us 10 cards deep and can search up or basically search up those experience counter creatures is going to be amazing for this deck. Another thing we're going to be utilizing is Gigantha in the companion zone. The fact that we can turn 2 ramp, turn 3 Gigantha to hand, turn 4 Gigantha to battlefield, and then cast our commander turn 5 with all of our mana open to cast those spells that we got off of mizzet is going to be an amazing play pattern, and very consistent at that. From there, we're going to utilize the experience counter creatures, right? Othari and Uzuri are by far the best in this deck, and they are amazing together as well. The fact that Othari makes those rebel tokens, and then Uzuri gets more experience counters off of the amount of rebel tokens we create is absolutely broken. Your opponents can't take that for very long before they just outright die. Another kind of side strategy we have in the deck is creatures entering tapped and attacking. So we are running stuff like Nigella just to get utilization out of Azuri's ability, so we can buff Nigella up with Azuri's ability while also triggering Uzuri. It's kind of busted. We also get to run Samut because of this and can generate some insane card advantage with, again, cards like Nigella and even Othari. So if that sounds like a deck tech you want to get into, let's get into it. One last thing, if you guys like high quality graphic tees, Into the AM is giving my audience a 10% discount code that's site-wide. So if you want to support the channel while getting yourself an awesome wardrobe, that's a solid option. Let's kick it off by talking about the experience counter creatures we are running. Othari is going to be one of the best cards in the deck, and honestly, our most consistent game ender. Uzuri can also very consistently get us a ton of experience counters and get us to the win as well. Marin of Clan Neltoth is kind of just in here for some added value, and then additionally, whenever one of our creatures dies, we're just going to get an experience counter. Daxos is just going to be a payoff in this deck. The fact that we can generate some pretty massive creature tokens for just 3 mana is going to be pretty awesome. Manthara is incredibly busted in this deck, but you have to be smart on when you play her. She's basically a Craterhoof behemoth and should be used as that. She's just going to be our game ender, because if you play her too early, she's going to shut off all of your Uzuri Claw of Progress triggers, and that's honestly one of the most consistent ways we can get a ton of experience counters in this deck. Othari was so busted in this deck, I wanted to lean into it, so we're also adding Nigella and Anampakal to the deck. These are basically going to do the same thing as Othari, and again be really busted with Uzuri. Guru and Satoru, again, these are really busted with Othari, Nigella, and Anampakal, because again, now we can just generate 3 dragons very consistently a turn, and those dragons are going to be massive. Miri's going to be amazing because we can really limit what our opponents are able to block. Grim Hireling goes infinite with Nigella the Blade Blossom. As long as we can generate 6 treasure tokens, which is just dealing 1 damage to each of our opponents, we can have infinite combat steps and win the game. Professional Facebreaker, not quite as broken, but still very useful in this deck. Samut's going to get us a ton of card advantage with this strategy. Nayali Sun's Vanguard is going to do something very similar, but also give all of our tokens double strike, which again will be extremely broken. Both Sisseis are going to make the cut as well. Just being able to tutor up the legendary creatures we need at any time is going to be incredibly useful. The first thing you grab is Uzuri, cast him, then you grab Othari, cast Othari, and now you've got your experience counter engine online. Lotho also makes the cut here since he's going to be a very consistent form of ramp, and our commander can easily grab him. Moving on to the core of the deck, we have mizzet Supreme. Not only does this synergize with mizzet, it also synergizes with Gigantha. It's perfect. Two-headed Hellkite synergizes amazingly with Gigantha. All you have to do is tap him and a land, and boom, you've got a giant dragon that draws you cards. Nahiri's Resolve, Sword of Hearth and Home, Brago King Eternal, and Saheeli are perfect for getting additional ETBs off of our commander. General Furist, now every time we cast a multicolor spell, we just get a 4/4. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Jensen's pretty solid here as well. Not only does he fix our mana, but additionally he's going to allow us to scry and really get us to the key pieces that we need. Evolutionary Sage, Staff of Completion, Tainted Observer, and Uzuri are going to be solid ways to proliferate those experience counters. War Leader's Call is essentially a Boros impact trimmer, so our commander can get it really easily, and then it can easily end out the game. Invasion of Telvada is going to be amazing recursion, and then it flips into something that generates creature tokens while additionally buffing up all of our tokens and giving them lifelink. Reconnaissance is going to be amazing at saving our tapped and attacking creatures from dying. Additionally, it's just going to be pseudo-vigilance at its worst. Eldamri's Call, a creature tutor that our commander can easily find. Boros Charm is just really flexible and kind of just protects our board. Marnia's Calgar is going to generate a ton of card advantage, and in a pinch can just generate us a board state. Toski Bear of Secrets is again solid card advantage. Windfall, Wheel of Misfortune takes our hand from 0 to full, so you've got to love that. Moving on to ramp, we have Bloom Tinder and Fairburrow Elder, just solid mana dorks that tap for 5 mana. Widespread Thieving is going to net us a card and additionally generate treasure tokens every time we cast a multicolored spell. We are also running Timeless Lotus, again just a solid card for some really solid ramp. Nature's Lore, Farseek, 3 visits for our mana fixing, and then we're going to run every signet that generates green mana. Again, that way we can get to our mana fixers early game. Moving on to interaction, we've got a lot of it because again, this is a pretty mid-rangey deck. Davin's Veto and Permission Denied are going to be solid counterspells that our commander can find. Assassin's Trophy, Terminate, Oko, Thief of Crowns, just solid removal. Hull Breach, Anguished Unmaking, Aura Shards, again, really just stopping the opponents from doing anything they want to do. Culling Ritual is going to be amazing for taking out those token strategies. Oversimplify is a solid Simic board wipe that exiles. Exterminatus, again, another solid way to get rid of everybody's board. Blasphemous Act, Toxic Deluge, and Cyclonic Rift. Like I said, very mid-rangey deck. Alright guys, let's see if we can get into some crazy board situations. We've got Ramp, we've got Samut, Grim Hireling. I am down. Let's take that. We'll go Blood Crypt, draw land, pass. Bloodstained. We're looking for a green source here so we can fire off Nature's Lure. That is 100%. Let me see how fast I can go. Forest Island, can't grab that. This is what's going to take up most of the time of the recording, just heads up. Looking for the freaking lands. Come on. Stomping Grounds? We can grab Stomping Grounds. Heck yeah. And then we're immediately going to Nature's Lure. Okay, so that'll grab us a forest. We'll grab a green-black source. Oh, actually, we already have a green-white source. It'd help if I knew the name of these, but I've just never, memorized them. So there's that. Okay, cool. White source. Next turn, we are going to throw this out. Now, we could Gigantha to hand, but I kind of like the thought of Grim Hireling into Samut. Yeah, we're going to do that. Oops. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That leaves 2 mana open. That's right. And then we're going to attack with Samut. Draw a card. We'll generate 2 treasure tokens. Tap or use 3 of them to put Gigantha into our hand. Let's make sure we add that treasure token so we do not forget about it. There we go. And then we'll go to our next turn. Throw out this because it's easy. 3, 4, 5. Throw this guy out. I want to connect with Samut again. No card draw. And then we'll sacrifice all but one of our treasures to throw out Fairburrow Elder. Now we've got all the mana in the world. Another thing we do have is we have one of our experience counters, guys. And we do have a board wipe. So if we need to slow the game down, we can go there. I probably should have played this out, because it's just going to make it impossible for them to block us. And then the Grim Hireling's going to be busted. So whenever attacks, each opponent can't block with more than 1 creature. Okay, and then here's what we're going to do. Tap this for 5 mana. Throw this off. Let's... This is going to be like scummy and not really show off the deck super well, but we're gonna go get the girl herself, Nigella. And then that was only green, white. So then we can just play her with the remainder. And then we're going to activate Giganta, putting Commander into play. Let's look at the top 10. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've already got 2 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll put these in hand. And then those to the bottom. Not great, but it's okay. Am I forgetting anything? Nope. We are just going to go ahead and go to our next turn. And then from here, I don't know if you guys know, but Grim Hireling and Nigella kind of go infinite because you can keep paying for her ability. We will, just to make it like guaranteed, we're going to tap this for 5 to throw out, oops, not that one, this guy. And then we do need an experience counter, so we're going to throw out this guy as well. So that's going to net us an experience counter. And what that's going to do is it's just going to make Nigella harder to kill, because at the beginning of combat, we can put X counters on Nigella, making her harder and harder to block. And that's just going to ensure that everything's getting through. Marisi's also going to be harder to block this way, so depending on our opponent's board state, we can kind of make them, you know, have hard choices. Never could you if that creature entered the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Okay, we'll probably kill them faster than that matters, probably. And then another thing that's going to happen is, so whenever Nigella attacks, we already have 1, 2, 3 warriors, right? Actually, is he a warrior? Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 warriors. So we're going to make 4 of those, and that's going to trigger him 4 times. So he's going to keep making Nigella bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Marisi's over here giving everything, or making it really hard for them to block. And then as long as we're dealing at least 3 damage to our opponents, or sorry, at least 1 creature is getting through to our opponents, we're netting 6 treasure tokens. And that's going to give us enough to pay for her ability again. And then we're going to get even more experience counters. So from here we go infinite, get infinite combat steps, and just murder everybody. So yeah, that's basically one of the best case scenarios, but it's also kind of cool, right? I know that kind of just seemed like 5-color good stuff, but the thing that really got us there was Azuri, making sure that people can't just block and kill Nigella. Also Marie. Without Miri, they could also block and easily kill Nigella. So it did take a lot of these cards put together to make that happen. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. With that being said, I would like to thank my patrons, especially my high contributing ones. Newsome, Exisum, Chicken Salad, you guys are amazing. I appreciate all of you, as well as all my other patrons that vote weekly on the weekly deck tech. I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.